Well, I just wanted to welcome everybody to my new channel. I've had a lot of people tell me that this is what I should do because I give a lot of good information. I am a tractor tech for a living. I work for a New Holland dealer, and I do balers, tractors, and whatnot. And I've been building old trucks. So I've been building small blocks, Chevrolets my whole life. I've done some big block Fords. Not a Ford guy. Everything I own, GM. Is a GM product. I just want to introduce you guys to the channel. Give me a break. I have never done anything like this before in my life. Just to everybody, it's like, hey, I think you should do this. So I'm gonna give it a shot. So hopefully you guys give me a thumbs up, maybe subscribe. I'm just gonna be a lot of good information. Like for example, this old truck right here is a 1979 GMC. It's 3/4 ton four-wheel drive. It's got a Dana 60 rear, 44 front. It was an odd combination. It had a 400 small block from the factory with 350 turbo behind it, which is if it was me speccing the truck out, I wouldn't have done it that way. It's got a 203 transfer case. And I drug this thing out of a fence row back in 2019. It's 2023 now, so it's been a really good truck. Done nothing to the transmission other than drop the pan, put a filter in it, and put the old fluid back. I've always been told, and I'll stick to that word, is put your old fluid back, filter it through a coffee filter, guys. No big deal. So, when I got it, 400 was stuck. So we pulled the 400 out. Once I actually got the thing running, sold it. And what I mean with our channel, the way we're saying this is wrenching for pennies. I have been wheeling and dealing since 2019 on this truck. So, for example, I sold the engine out of it. That paid. We fixed the brakes and and we'll try to throw some clips. No, just work with us. We're new. I've got some pictures of this thing when it was sitting in the brush. So now I had a 355 cubic inch. Had a pretty good sized cam in it. I'll have my camera person wait here just for a second. Excuse the mess. This is the camshaft that I had in it. You guys, you gotta remember, this is a flat tapped cam. I've run into this quite often now here lately, is that all the oil anymore doesn't have much zinc in it. What happens, I don't know how well you can see it, but it is taking that lobe clean off. So I put a different cam in it, put a Voodoo cam. This is, I think it's a custom grind cam. It was a 498 510 with 292 302 duration. Don't ask me lobe separation, don't remember. It's just kind of a shell piece. I bought this cam, me and my dad did, when I was 14. And it's just sentimental, I can't get rid of it. My 355 is actually sitting over there. We're gonna do something with it in time. So back to the story. We put a cam in it and it was okay. It started producing metal in the oil pan. I had a set of Dart Iron Eagle heads on it, and we had a Elderbrock Performer intake. Nothing spectacular. It was just a good all-around, good vacuum on the cam that spec I had. So it started producing metal, and I just didn't have the funds to throw any more money at it. So I went out to a farm and found a 92 Chevy 3/4 ton four-wheel drive sitting in the weeds. We pulled the engine out of it. I started it for about 2 seconds on the engine stand. I said, all right, we're gonna try it. It was a TBI, so I ripped the intake off. I drilled a aluminum intake I had. I don't advise it. It works, but the TBI heads are junk. So I ran it for a little bit, and the truck started having a problem about a year after I put it in. They started running a little rough. So I decided I'll just pull the engine back out. I had some parts I'd gathered, put another Voodoo cam in it, put them Dart Iron Eagle heads on it, put a new Performer intake that I had on my other engine, and it ran okay. I put a set of timing gears. Noisy timing gears in a hay truck, I tell you, that's the stupidest thing in the world. But we got this thing and drove it for a little bit. and I ran into some people that have a bunch of these trucks, and a lot of them are sitting in the weeds. And I made a deal with them, and a camera person there wasn't real thrilled about it, but I started it up, and I'll have to show you what it is. In here, it's probably poor lighting, most likely, is a factory 1977 454. Bone stock 454. Only thing I have done is put a 650 Holly on it. I got the timing adjusted a little bit. It's still got, I think it's got a lifter noise. I mean, this thing's been sitting in the weeds for I don't know how many years. So about 2 weeks ago now, I put this engine in and I drive it. Guys, I get better fuel mileage out of this big block than was out of small blocks. Now, when I say we're doing things cheap, we're doing things cheap. I didn't even clean it. Only thing I did was delete the oil cooler. Just put your, all those old mid-70s small blocks. I had the 2 bolts you could put a spin-on filter. Easy. It's got the 350 mounts in it, clamshells. But when I got this thing stabbed in here, I realized I ran into a problem. With that being a 350 turbo, it's got a smaller bolt pattern. So me being cheap, I took a deburring bit and just rounded my hole out a little bit. Worked phenomenal. But it's temporary. We are gathering parts. I got to go sometime here next future, and I've got to go get another front clip and a cad off a truck we're just using for parts. Well, it's a stick. If she'll shine here on the floor, we have an SM465. A guy gave it to me. It's been sitting in the weeds. I mean, you can see it's covered in moss. Then, 205 transfer case. Been looking for one forever. I didn't want to spend the money on one. He gave them both to me. So we're going to take these two. We're going to convert this thing from a 350 turbo to a 400. SM465 with a 205. Behind this big block with 411 gears, this thing will be a pulling monster. I mean, I don't want to do nothing to the engine. Nothing. I mean, we may put a set of chrome valve covers on it because this is my first big block. And I had the chain set wrong and I bent my valve cover. And it bugs me. I mean, I try to do things professionally, but cheaply, if that makes sense to anybody. I mean, I've got, expensive parts laying around. Don't worry, they're not mine. I build engines for other people. Some of the stuff we're going to keep hid because my buddy of mine has got a YouTube channel as well. So we will be talking about that whenever he comes into here, because I already talked to him. He's been pushing me to do this YouTube thing. So, I mean, a lot of the parts on this truck, the hood was open when I got it. I mean, just like that. We welded some angle iron to it. I mean, it's a beater truck. I'm trying to fix it up slowly. I mean, I got a bell bed on it. I farm as well. We got just a real small bit of ground that we farm. And one of these days when it gets warmer out, because where we're at, it's cold right now, obviously. I'll show you my tractor. I've got a 1949 Farm All In. I get $500 for it, drug it out of a fence row, guys. I'm telling you, I'm the type of guy, get this old iron going. Don't scrap it. I have no money in this truck. The highest thing I got is the tires. I mean, yeah, you can see that it's got a electric over hydraulic electric pump in here for my bell spear. But you know what? I made a deal with that. I bought that and the bed that's on this truck. It's just a single spear for $250. I took it off of a 78 Ford pickup that was sitting at a scrapyard. And all that was with it. $250. The grill, being a 79 GMC, the grill is extremely hard to find. You can buy, aftermarket whatnot, but none of them that I can find have GMC in them, and I'm OCD, I guess. And, the bezels, there's a lot of them around, but me, I don't want to spend the money. Dug around, and I ended up getting 2 cabs of front clips, and sure enough, one of them was a GMC. 79 was the only year for this. I could be mistaken, but every 79, I've had a lot of these trucks over the years. But 79 and 80 were the only years that had this, when I believe the 80s had a square. I mean, it's a honey. I mean, when I got it, you could walk through the floorboards. I mean, there was no floorboards, guys. But my channel's going to be wrapped around this kind of stuff. We're gonna fix this old truck up. It's taking me time. Hi, Shop Kitty. And I mean, this is good. My transmission transfer case, and we're gonna hold off just a little bit. I've got to get more parts. Excuse my dog. She's scared of everything that walks. So probably the next thing I'm going to try to do is I am building a pickup for a buddy of mine. It is a 78 Chevy. It's a half-ton, full drive, short bed, 4-speed. And the 350 that I pulled out of here, I traded him. I've got to pull the timing gears out of it. So we'll discuss the timing gears, pulling them out. And kind of getting it prepped from being automatic to a big, this thing hasn't had an engine in it for I don't know how many years. Excuse me, I'm blubbering. I'm not used to this, guys. But like I said, it's a work in progress. We're going to be putting fenders, doors, hood on this truck. My bed needs welded up. Something else that I'm going to be doing, we're going to put military 3/4 ton leaf springs in the rear. I got them. I got to go pull them off a frame that's sitting in the weeds. Guys, you just got to go out and ask people sometimes. You know, never hurts to ask. That's how I got this truck. I actually got this truck for free with a title. Believe it or not. The old boy, I asked him 2 or 3 times. And he finally told me, give him scrap price for it. So I decided I was going to give him scrap price. I said, just hang on. I'll get the money gathered up and we'll get back with you. And before I left, he goes, how bad do you want this truck? I said, really bad. I want to build it. I said, I've been looking for one for years because I sold all of them for reasons. And he goes, I'll tell you what, just get this truck out here just to shut my wife up. I was like, you got a deal. So I did. And so yeah, it's we're going to be doing a lot of wrench turning on older stuff. I've got some new iron here. I mean, this is my oldest, other than my tractor. Then I've got a 98 Chevy K1500. It's got a 350 Vortec. I put an NV4500 in it. Great swap, especially because we do pulling with our camper. So it's a half ton. I'm not going to drive a single cab, Then the cameraman back here has got a 2014 Silverado 6-inch lift that I done. It was a grandpa truck when I bought it, and I think it was either 2018 or 2019 when I bought it. It was a grandpa truck, and then we have just slowly built it and built it. So, but yeah, this is kind of stuff you're going to see. I got to figure out the heat problem. It's putting a lot of cool air inside the cab. But, this is kind of stuff, it's going to be a lot of square body stuff because, I deal with a lot of people with square bodies. And like I said, we do a little bit of row cropping. This will be our first year back in doing it. For my time, my family quit. And back in the 80s, whenever, the drought hit where we're at. So, it's going to be interesting. This is going to be a new ride for me. I'll do my best at videoing and try not to be shaky. But she's trying to tell me stuff behind the camera here. Is please like, subscribe. This is kind of a boring video, I understand, but I like to give information. The information on this. Tell you the truth, we're probably going to be pulling this transmission down, pulling the top cover, pulling the shift forks out, pulling the side covers off, and inspecting it because it had water in it. I want to make sure that it doesn't need bearings. I know the front input shaft seal needs to be replaced. And if it doesn't, the bearings and everything feel pretty good, we're going to just slap it back together. We're going to slam it in the truck. Transfer case as well. I'm going to pull it apart, see what it needs. If anything, just put seals in it. Put it in the truck. I mean, there's a lot of engine building stuff back here. I do a lot of small block Chevys, like I said. We'll do lawnmowers. I mean, I'll have a little bit of information and everything. But there won't be a lot of tractor stuff because, I mean, doing that for a living, no. So, like I said, like, follow, subscribe. We'll see if we can throw another video out sometime towards the end of the week. Maybe something else I got going on. So, thank you guys and appreciate it.